his electoral magic and make it mission possible. To analyze these issues, I'm very happy to welcome reputed political strategist and psephologist Amitabh Tiwari, who runs a popular blog site called Political Baba, very interesting. He has advised top political parties, including chief ministers, and was a former investment banker. And thank you, Amitabh, for agreeing to share your insights. And so welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor and pleasure to be on this show.
Amitabh, let's start with the BJP's target or the NDA's target of 400 and why at first glance it seems like the electoral equivalent of climbing Mount Everest. Now we know that the BJP in the 2019 election did outstandingly well by winning 303 seats on its own. That is almost 31 seats more than the simple majority of 272 seats of, as I had mentioned earlier, the 543 seats of the Lok Sabha. And with its allies, the NDA's total was 353. So if you take the overall vote percentage, the BJP got around 38% votes, and the NDA, with the NDA, got 45%. Well, again, this is an outstanding performance. Getting to Mount 400 is going to be tough. Now, the BJP needs to add 70 seats, and its NDA allies would have to help them out with keeping or retaining the 50-odd seats that they had won last time. Now, you have a plan which you call Prabhu Ram. So let's start with this very curious acronym, which I gather really has nothing to do with Lord Ram, though the BJP will certainly need his blessings to achieve that. So what does your Ram look like?
Yeah, any election in India is not a done deal. This is largely because of three factors. The first is that a large number of people in India are late deciders. It's like 25 to 30% as per CSDS. Then there are 25% people who vote on the basis of the candidate. This is Access My India 2019 data. So the main consideration for them is the candidate. And the third and most important number is that in India, only 31% people are loyal voters. Again, an Access My India and India Today 2019 exit poll data, which means that 69% of the people are not ideologically aligned or hardcore ideological voters of any party. So that's a big chunk of 69%, which swing between different parties in different elections depending upon the environment. So no election in India is a done deal. So the election is still open, let's say, for that matter.
Well, that's that's very good, really good to hear that, in the sense that you are saying 25% of the voters will decide in the next 2 months. So whatever else that has happened in the last 4 or 5 years, either party, whether it's the BJP or its opponents, the Congress and others, can still gain ground or lose ground in the next 2 months, depending on how they move on their political strategies.
Correct. Because there's still a lot of time. There's still 3 weeks to 6 weeks for many seats to go to polls. So things can change. However, in any election, there are favorites, and BJP is the favorite. Can favorites lose? Yes, they can lose. Can they always lose? I mean, that happens very rarely in games we've seen. Sorry.
Yeah, but let's come to your RAM formula.
Yeah,
you know, what is the acronym, the expansion of that acronym, and let's get into the nuts and bolts of that.
Yeah. So RAM essentially is composed of a 3-tier strategy. R means regain, A means attain, which means gain, sort of, and M means maintain. So this is the 3-tier strategy for BJP. In regain, BJP.
Can I start? Let us start with maintain, okay? Because I think that's very important. I talked of the 303 seats that the BJP had won, and also the fact that NDA had 353. So if you see the statistics that's there, the NDA pretty much swept the Lok Sabha seats in these in 13 states, if I recall: Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Gujarat. Many of these states were getting 100%. Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Delhi, and Karnataka and UP. And the statistics show that in these 13 states, the NDA won 283 out of the 314 seats. Now, that is a phenomenal strike rate of 90% in these seats. So what is the strategy that the BJP and the NDA now have to adopt to maintain this strike rate they had, or even improve on it?
Yeah, so Maintain is the most important, because if they do not win these 303 seats, then it is difficult to achieve the 370 target. In 224 of these 303 seats, BJP got more than 50% vote share. So
Right.
that's a huge lead which they have. If we break this 303 into two segments, one is they won 175 seats against the Congress party and 128 seats against the regional parties.
Okay.
In the 175 seats against the Congress party, they have a vote share lead of 20% plus.
Wow.
That's a phenomenal lead, which means Congress needs a swing of 10% from the
Right.
BJP towards itself to turn this around.
That's 175 seats you're saying.
175 seats, and the entire election actually is predicated on these 175 sort of seats. If the
Okay.
Congress party is not able to win a significant chunk of seats, then BJP finishes near to the majority.
And
If
can you tell us where that 175 seats lie of the Congress? Which states largely has the
yeah,
BJP
yeah,
captured?
yeah, so these seats are essentially bipolar states, largely Gujarat, MP, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Haryana, Himachal, Uttarakhand, some seats in Maharashtra, Bihar, UP as well, some seats in Telangana, Karnataka for that matter. So these are the states. Unfortunately for the Congress party, in 80% of these seats, the regional parties do not have any significant vote share. In fact,
Oh.
the third ranked party in these 175, and Congress had 115, so let's say 190 odd seats, is just 4%. So regional
Wow.
parties do not have any role in these 175 seats which the BJP won. And that is perhaps the, you can say, the unlucky part for the Congress in terms of alliance, is that while it is able to transfer vote share to regional parties, whatever it has, 2%, 5%, 7%, 10% in states, it does not get the same reciprocity from the regional parties. And that is perhaps the crux of the problems in the India bloc. So these are the 175 seats. In
Correct.
this 175 seats also, on 153 seats, BJP had more than 50% vote share. This is a mammoth scale of victory which the BJP had in these seats. So it needs to maintain. If we talk about, is there any state amongst these 175 seats where Congress looks in a better position to today defeat the BJP? I would say perhaps no state where the BJP can, sorry, where the Congress can get more states seats than the BJP. Perhaps in
Okay.
Karnataka, in Telangana, in MPCG, it can pull a few back.
I'll come to those states, but meanwhile, you were saying one is the Congress and
Yeah,
175, and the strike rate is dismal when it comes to the BJP. The BJP, sweeps all these states that's there, and Congress needs to improve on that particular front. Even may not be, it needs a massive vote swing for it. You were also talking of the other, of the 303, there were
yeah,
160 odd other seats that the BJP
yeah,
is there, which they're regional parties, if I recall, that you were mentioning. Now, what
yeah,
is there in that particular thing? Where is the sort of advantage the BJP has or the challenges it faces?
yeah. So essentially, BJP and regional parties contested on 185 seats in
Right.
2019, out of which BJP won 128 and regional parties 57.
Right.
Here, the vote share lead for the BJP is 7% in
Right.
these seats, average vote share lead. And
Sorry, can you
incident,
just repeat what is the percentage you said?
the
Vote share?
average lead of the BJP in these
Right.
185 seats, where BJP won 128 and the regional parties 57, is 7% vote share.
Okay.
And incidentally, the third ranked party, whichever it was, in these 185 seats, has an average vote share of 7%. So this is where the alliances kick in. This is where the
Okay.
role of alliances is
So you're
fairly.
saying may I just interpret that? You are saying that the difference between the BJP and the regional parties, wherever they're contesting in the seats that you mentioned, is the difference is 7%, right?
Yes.
Is the winning margin is 7% for the
Winning margin
BJP
is
or for the
average.
regional party? Is it
No,
what?
no. On an whole for the BJP, on an whole
Okay.
for the on an whole, if we take the average vote share of BJP in all these seats where it has won
Right.
and lost both, and same for the regional parties. And on 88 of these seats, the Congress was the third party. And these are the
Interesting.
states. These are the states like UP, West Bengal, you can say Bihar. These
Right.
are the states where largely these seats are. Telangana also. And
Okay.
here is where the Congress can play a role by aligning with parties.
Right.
Like
Okay.
UP, but in West Bengal, they have lost it out. There is no alliance. So here is where the role of regional parties and alliances kicks in
So
largely.
that is why we can now understand why the Congress seemed very reluctant to get into any alliance, because it really doesn't help the Congress in the key areas or its key zones that it is doing a one-on-one with BJP. It doesn't really add anything to it. And on the other hand, Congress actually helps the other regional parties to gain the percentage they need to defeat the BJP wherever possible. That's the general trend of your
Yes,
argument on
that's the
this one.
crux. Yeah, that's the
Let's
crux.
start with continuing with the maintained theme that you talked
Yeah.
about. Let's look at Uttar Pradesh. You know, it has 80 seats, which is the largest that any state has in the country. It's phenomenally large. And in 2019, the BJP won 62 seats and its ally 2 seats more, so it got 64. So that meant 16 seats went to the opposition. What does it need to achieve a clean sweep? Because this is one place, 16 seats is a lot. A state like Telangana has 17 seats in all, and here 16 seats if it's able to capture. What should the strategy of the BJP be to win the 16 seats that's there? And
Again,
maintain the 64, right? They have to maintain it, right? Yeah,
again, as we see, Prabhu Ram perhaps is smiling on the BJP here because the epicenter of the Ram Mandir inauguration or the movement is in UP. And
right,
incidentally, while we believe that BJP has maxed out in the Hindi heartland, but as you said rightly, there are 16 seats which can be gained by the BJP here. And that is the highest number of potential seats which BJP can gain in any state across India in this election. So it
right,
is at the right place at the right time, sort of. So how it can win these 16 seats? Last time when
right.
it lost uh, these seats, I think it lost almost 10 seats compared to 2014. 10 of those were won by the Bahujan Samaj Party because there was a formidable alliance between the Samajwadi Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, and the RLD, which catered to a larger section of population, which is MY, almost 30%, and the
Right.
Dalit population. So 50% of population that alliance represented versus a 50% population or a voting segment of upper caste and non-Yadav OBCs represented by the BJP. So that was a 50-50 fight.
There also
Uh,
was the SP aligned. Wasn't the SP aligned also with the BSP at that time?
yeah, SP
The
was
Samajwadi Party was?
yeah, Samajwadi Party. So they brought in the MY, the Muslim Yadav vote, and the BSP brought in the Dalit vote. So 50 versus 50%. Now, this time what has happened is that though Congress is added to this alliance, RLD has left and joined the BJP. So that's a double impact. That's largely
Right.
going to impact the Western UP, where Jats are in significant number, roughly 25% of
RLD is
population.
the Rashtriya Lok Dal, which headed by
Rashtriya
Jan
of,
Chaudhary. Yes.
of Jayant Chaudhary. But the
Right.
BSP is not part of this alliance. So what
Right.
happens is that this alliance becomes inherently weaker because in terms of a social engineering, it is largely then left to MY plus a section of upper caste voters which still remain with the Congress and a section of the non-Jata voters which the Samajwadi Party has been able to win back in 2022 Vidhan Sabha election. But on the other side, what has happened is that from the Dalit category, BJP has emerged as the number one party of the non-Jatas, which is almost 9% of the population. So in terms of a social engineering, it has upper caste plus non-Yadav OBCs plus non-Jataus to its states. So it represents almost 60% of the population vis-a-vis 30% with, or rather 55 to 60% with BJP and 12% left with Mayawati because only Jataus are left and roughly 35% with the Samajwadi Party led
And
alliance.
they also, if I'm not mistaken, the BJP has tied up with that Om Prakash Rajbar's Suhel Dev Bharatiya Samaj Party, right? The SBSP, which represents a certain section of the backward and Dalit in the eastern UP
Yes,
region.
yes. So BJP has also tied up with these smaller parties. So BJP has a stronger alliance compared to 2019, whereas the opposition has a weaker alliance compared to 2019. And the SBSPs and the Nishad parties of the world also have decent vote share, especially in the Purvanchal region, where BJP suffered the biggest losses in 2022 Vidhan Sabha elections. That was
So
the
that is
region.
why you see, that is why in some senses you see the Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, Priyanka also not wanting to contest from UP because they think in many senses the odds are stacked against them. And the Samajwadi Party, which is their ally, may not be able to kind of provide the momentum for them to win their earlier erstwhile seats, Rahul Gandhi's erstwhile constituency.
Yeah, because the Samajwadi Party, though has expanded its vote bank, the MY tag still is related to the party, and it has not been able to make a significant dent in the non-Yadav OBC vote bank of the
Right.
BJP. Plus, what happens is that in the 2022 Vidhan Sabha election, the maximum loss of the BSP was absorbed by the Samajwadi Party. However, from here, if the BSP loses further votes because it's largely left with Dalit votes, this could this could go to the BJP and not the Samajwadi Party. So that's also complicates matters for the India bloc in UP and gives confidence to the BJP.
Right. So you're saying the SP, Samajwadi Party, it did fairly well in the assembly elections. But when it comes to a Lok Sabha poll, it will not get the kind of traction. Akhilesh Yadav will not get that kind of traction. And as you were saying, the MY, just to explain to our, those who are viewing and listening, is the Muslim Yadav combination that he has, which it continues to be very strong, but that is not sufficient enough to unseat the BJP or bring the numbers down that it has. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
it's largely 32% of population and has not been able to expand his vote base. Plus, what happens in that in a national election, the role of the prime ministerial candidate becomes fairly important. And Akhilesh Yadav is not the prime ministerial candidate. He is the chief
Right.
ministerial candidate. So Akhilesh Yadav, whatever votes he got on the basis of his leadership qualities in a Vidhan Sabha election, that may also go away from him. And for the
Okay.
leadership factor, the Gandhis will need to draw the votes, but they are not willing to contest in the state. So the leadership
Right.
votes, whatever segment of the leadership vote the Samajwadi Party alliance got, may also switch to the BJP-led alliance because of the national character of the elections.
Now let's turn to another key battleground state that the BJP has to retain, and this is Maharashtra, which is the second largest in terms of seats, 48 seats it offers. In 2019, the BJP and the Shiv Sena were in an alliance together, and they won 41 seats of that 48 seats, and the breakup being that the BJP won 23 seats and the Shiv Sena won 18 seats. But after assembly elections, the Shiv Sena broke away and joined the National Congress Party, Nationalist Congress Party and the Congress Party to form the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. And that really created problems for the BJP, but it struck back first by breaking the Shiv Sena, by winning over Eknath Shinde and making him the CM with their support. And then, of course, splitting the NCP, the Nationalist Congress Party, and winning over Ajit Pawar last year. So does this put the BJP in the driver's seat now in Maharashtra? It appeared 2 years ago that they were badly positioned, but now they seem to have recovered, or have they done an overreach?
So they were in the back seat, and that's why the Shiv Sena and the NCP alliance is fructified. So BJP realized that it's on a back foot, and it took remedial measures, one can say. However, the problem in Shiv Sena, or however, the problem in Maharashtra is that who is the real Sena and who is the real NCP is not known to many people. Does not know. People
That's
don't know that because it has not been tested yet in any election, in any big election. Of course, there has been one or two by-polls, but they cannot be construed as having the right example. So whatever votes Shiv Sena has, Shiv Sena got some 23% vote. In a national election, even 1/4 of the votes which the allies of BJP got was due to the Modi factor as per CSTS. So which means one can easily remove 5 to 6% of that 23% vote share. So they are left with 18% of their hardcore vote. Now,
right.
who has this 18%? Just does Shinde have it? Does Uddhav Thackeray has it? Do they have it half-half? Is it 1:2? We don't know. We'll have to see. Similarly, for NCP, NCP had 16% vote share roughly in Lok
Mm-hmm.
Sabha elections, and Congress also had 16. So that makes it 32% vote share. Out of this 32% vote share, almost 9% vote share is from the minority population,
Mm-hmm.
because the UPA at that point of time got 77% of Muslim support, and Muslims are around 11%
Right.
there. So now of this 9% vote, with Ajit Pawar aligning with the BJP, will
Mm-hmm.
he get this 9% vote? It is highly doubtful.
Mm.
So this vote might remain with the UPA bloc. Now, where the Shiv Sena candidate contests from the India bloc side, does this Muslim voter who overwhelmingly 80% roughly voted for the NCP and Congress candidates, will they vote for the Shiv Sena candidate with the same zeal? So it's a lot of a khichdi. And that's why it is very tricky for pollsters to determine who has the edge here. It could be seat by seat. However, it's again not a regional election. A lot of these could play out in a Vidhan Sabha election. In a
Mm.
national election where 37% of the people are voting in the name of the Prime Minister, as per Access My India study, who is the prime ministerial candidate of the India bloc is a question mark. So what happens is that
Right.
the India bloc leaves a big chunk of their addressable market unsatisfied. They do not have answer or a leader to present to this 37%, because a Sharad Pawar or a Uddhav Thackeray cannot be the prime ministerial candidate. They may be chief ministerial candidates. So this is where the Maharashtra scene gets fairly complicated. If we assume that, because we don't know the numbers, if we assume that both the factions have half support of the original support, uh, then BJP looks to have an edge on paper on the basis of 2019 numbers.
I will just add one more point before we move to the next state, and that is the fact that given the kind of machinations that the BJP did to split the various parties, in some senses, brand BJP, though it might have got the driver's seat again, its image could have been dented because they seem to be like any other party, though they claim to be a party of difference. Would that, in some senses, have the Marathi pride or the Maratha pride, would that be impacted? Would they feel that, look, this has gone too far, and therefore the BJP has overreached in trying to do what it's doing, and therefore could lose a bit of that vote over there? A
Yeah,
sympathy
so
wave, if you'd like to call it,
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah. So
the
this is there because BJP has, in the past or even today, is largely considered as a party which has the support of the Gujarati community and the North Indian community
right.
in Maharashtra. And added to on that was the Shiv Sena Marathi Manus support, as we call it. A very pertinent question raised, and that's not only relevant to the Marathi Manus, as we call it, because
Right.
any election which BJP today is winning is not because of Hindutva. So the cherry on the cake, almost of the 37-38% vote share, as you mentioned, nationally, the BJP's core vote is perhaps 25%. One third of
Mm.
this 37-38 is the Modi factor. And that comprises of individuals who are not hardcore ideologically aligned to a party. Those are
Right.
neutral. And this ED action, arrests, all these things do impact this set of voters who feel that this is the party is the same as not any other party. And this
Mm-hmm.
could have an effect. How big or small, it is very difficult to gauge at this stage.
Okay. I mean, the seat sharing arrangements are being worked out now. I think they've almost finalized, but we won't get into that detail till we actually get the actual seat sharing, and we can analyze that further. But let's now get to the other big battleground state, which is Bihar. It has 40 seats. And here again, we see tremendous political flip-flops, especially by Nitish Kumar. Just to recap, for those who have joined us, in 2019, the BJP, along with NDA allies, the Janata Dal United, which is headed by Nitish Kumar and the Lok Janshakti Party, had swept Bihar in the Lok Sabha, winning 39 out of the 40 seats, with more than 53% of the votes. However, 2 years later, in August 2022, the party received its biggest setback when Nitish Kumar, the Bihar Chief Minister and the JDU stalwart, walked out of the party's alliance with the BJP and formed a government along with the Rashtriya Janata Dal, the RJD chief Tejasvi Yadav. Nearly a year down the line, Nitish also became, if you recall, the fulcrum of the 27-party opposition alliance that was imaginatively Christian, the India or the Indian National Development and Inclusive Alliance. Nitish also made good on his promise to conduct a caste census in the state. He increased reservations on the basis of that exercise, handing the opposition the pole plank of a national census or caste census to counter the BJP's Hindutva push. So, Amitabh, here's where we now reach. There's been a stunning coup just in January 2024. The BJP got Nitish to dump the RJD and rejoin the NDA. Now the BJP seems to be on the driver's seat again, having not got not just the Janata Dal United, but also the breakaway faction of the LJP, headed by Chirag Paswan, to return to the NDA. So do you think, two things. One, did in this census now sound the death knell of India as we knew it? And two, the impact of this on Bihar, does this give now BJP complete assurance in a state that almost seemed to have gone, getting it right back as they did in Maharashtra?
Yeah, so essentially BJP was here on the back foot and Nitish Kumar was the deciding factor. It's said that wherever Nitish Kumar moves, that alliance largely wins any election, whether it is state election or a national election. So since Nitish's party had won 16 seats, there was a risk of losing majority of them if Nitish was on that side. Because Nitish Kumar's JDU and RJD also have had a successful history of a vote transfer between themselves in 2015, being part of the Janata Party or Janata Dal background. So, but now with Nitish Kumar switching back to uh, NDA, what happens is that it again weakens the alliance which India Bloc has there, which largely comprises of Lalu Prasad's party RJD, Congress, and some left parties. Uh, but there, since the NDA had got 39 out of 40, it is difficult to achieve that number. It's not going to be easy. Of course, there is a national character of the elections, but Nitish Kumar's popularity may have dented somewhat because of these frequent flip-flops. So what could happen is that on the 16 seats which Nitish Kumar is contesting, those could be the weak seats for the NDA alliance. Similarly, the 8 or 9 seats which the Congress party will be contesting from the India bloc could be the weak seats for the India bloc here as well, and BJP would feel confident of winning on those 8 seats. Tejasvi is fairly popular among the youth, with unemployment being a big factor in this Lok Sabha election, and he has uh, created a lot of government vacancies while he was in office. And unlike Akhilesh, he has been able to expand his vote bank as well. So his vote bank today, again, which was largely MY sort of, in the last Vidhan Sabha elections, the RJD has gained 10% support of non-Yadav MCs. So that's a huge number, wherein the population itself is 25 to 30%. So he could give a tough fight, whether it will be 39 1 or it will be 30-10. That's very difficult to decide, because again, the complexity of the alliance, a seamless vote transfer, what happens is that while RJD and other parties will be able to transfer their votes to the Congress candidate, as we saw in 2020 election, the Congress strike rate was just 19 out of 70 seats. If they had won just 8 seats more, then the Mahagathbandhan would have formed the government. So Congress party is the weak link here, and Modi is fairly popular again because of a Hindi heartland state, and we'll have to see how the things pan out. But BJP